Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we encourage each other in our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name's Ellen Anthony, and I am your worship host this morning. I'm one of the co-chairs of the worship committee. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those joining us via live stream. We are happy to welcome back Rev Kate this morning. Rev Kate is recovering from pneumonia and doesn't have her full lung capacity back yet, so she's saving her breath for the sermon for you. Before we begin our worship service, I have a few announcements to make. Thank you to Pablo Willie Bustos for that wonderful prelude on the organ. Where did he go? Pablo is the music director at the First Unitarian Church of Rochester, New York, and he's visiting here with his husband, Jason, who is online. Welcome, Pablo and Jason. We're happy to announce the return of a beloved UUMH tradition, the Talent, No Talent show. This is going to be on Pi Day, March 14th, or 314 for those of you who get the math joke. Soon we'll be signing people up to make pies and to be in the talent show. But for now, please just mark your calendars for Friday night, March 14. We hope you're all enjoying our Winter Spirituality series. Please check the handouts on the welcome table and on our website, uumh.org, for a full list of our offerings. Unfortunately, our offering this afternoon, the Labyrinth Walk, is canceled. Unfortunately, our offering this afternoon, the Labyrinth Walk, is canceled due to the weather. We'll let you know of a rain date once this is rescheduled, but there are still many offerings this week. On Monday, we have Qigong in the morning at 8:30, both online and in person, and in the evening at 6 p.m. we have meditation on Zoom. Wednesday evening is our Quaker-style worship at 6 p.m. That's open to all. It happens downstairs in AB Hall. And Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. is yoga with Kate Wallace-Rogers. Please bring your own yoga mat if you can. Otherwise, they will be provided. And finally, next Sunday, February 23rd at 2 p.m., we'll be having our second annual Singspiration here in the sanctuary. This is a fabulous interfaith and interactive event where all the churches in town come together to sing hymns and songs from our different traditions. This year it will be a fundraiser for the Homeless Prevention Council. We hope you can join us. If you're here in person today, we hope that you'll join us downstairs after the worship service ends for coffee and conversation. Now let's take a moment to affirm our community's covenant. You can find this printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews. I'll say it line by line, and you can repeat each line back to me. Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
Love is the spirit of this meeting house.
This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace. To seek the truth in love. And to help one another. Now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you joining us online to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even while we're apart. This morning, I invite Marty to light our chalice for us as I share these words by Craig Rowland. I breathe in the warmth of this light, its glow filling the spaces where fear and doubt reside. I breathe out the tension I carry. I release what no longer serves me. I breathe in the strength of our community, a sanctuary of diverse voices and shared purpose. I breathe out the urge to go it alone. I embrace the power of togetherness. I breathe in the courage to speak truth, even when it trembles on my lips. I breathe out the silence that holds me back. I make space for honesty and justice. I breathe in the hope of transformation, knowing we are here to build and to heal. I breathe out despair, trusting that change is born in small acts of love. As we light this chalice, may each breath remind us of the sacred rhythm of life, the pulse of creation, and the power we hold to shape the world around us. Please join me now in singing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life. That's hymn number 128 in the gray hymnals. For all that is our life, please rise as you are able.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fear for hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Shannon. I'm the president of the UU Meetinghouse, and Kate has asked me to lead the prayer this morning. During our prayer, or at any time during the service, you're invited to light a candle right over here. Where there's a journal to record your thoughts and prayers. As we settle more deeply into our time, I invite you to join me in a short guided meditation. This one comes to us from Dr. Claire Roberts, a British psychologist who leads something called Generation Calm. It's an online community that offers some great tools for reducing stress and dealing with anxiety. After our short guided meditation and a few moments of silence, we will sing together Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the gray hymnals. You can also find the words to this song printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews. We'll sing it in English first and then in Spanish. But first, let's enter into a calm time together. Find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And if not, just gaze softly downward. Allow your mind, body, and breath to settle like a snow globe. Your thoughts slowing down, your breath growing slower. Take a slow breath in and a long, slow breath out. Notice any tension that has crept into your muscles and imagine it melting away from the top of your head, your scalp, down through your eyes, your jaw, your neck, moving down through your shoulders as they melt away from your ears. Allow the relaxation to continue down through your stomach, back, down through your pelvis and your hips, melting away tension through your thighs, your knees, and all the way down to your feet. Think about how things have been for you today, and then release it. It's okay to be having a stressful day, a sad day, an angry day, or an emotional day. It's okay to be having a calm day. It's good to know that emotions change quickly, so what might seem overwhelming right now will soon work itself out. You can go back into the world feeling refreshed and calm. But first, allow a word to come to your mind of how you wish the rest of your day to go. What is your word for today? Take another slow breath in and open your eyes. Slow breath out. And just enjoy one more moment of silence.
Our reading this morning is by the Arab-American poet Naomi Shihab Nye. It's called Gate A4. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my own gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing. "Help," said the flight attendant. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke haltingly. "Shudawa, shubiduk habibti, stani shwe, min fadlik, shibitsui." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment the next day. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there, just later. Who is picking you up? Let's call him." We talked to her son. I spoke with him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and ride next to her. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic, and found out, of course, that they have 10 shared friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling of her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamoul cookies, little powdered sugar crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, from her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free apple juice from huge coolers, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving it, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. Now we were holding hands. She had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with furry green leaves. Such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen, anywhere. Not everything is lost. Now is the time when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by our choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. I invite 3 volunteer ushers forward to take up our collection. On and off site, your offerings will now be gratefully received.
Everybody. Yeah. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one one foot in front of the other, and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with Join us. You've gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Lift up your eyes, lift up your eyes. Don't you despair,
Don't you despair.
Look up ahead, look up ahead. The path is there.
The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You've gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. A little faster. One more time. Wait. Little faster. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with You got it. 'Cause you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. You gotta put We're going to sing that at the end of the service also.
Hi. It's been a minute. The top drawer of my dresser is for some reason the deepest. I keep my socks there. It would be more useful if the deepest drawer held my pants or my shirts, something that requires a little more depth than a sock. But oh well. It makes more sense to me to have the socks stored at the top, so I keep them there. Because of its sheer volume, though, and also my utter disdain for folding laundry, this vast and seemingly bottomless wasteland of a drawer has become a massive pool of unmatched socks. Every morning it causes me endless frustration because I can never find a matching pair. Hiking socks and dress socks and workout socks are all jumbled together, and not all of them actually have matches in there, but you know if you get rid of the singles, the match will inevitably turn up in the next round of laundry. So you never want to get rid of them. I wade through it like I'm doing the breaststroke. Finding an identical set is like playing a game of memory. I think I saw one of these over there earlier, and matching is cause for celebration, although sometimes it can be premature, as the winning pair turns out to be inappropriate for work because it says badass up the side in colorful lettering, a gift from last year's Christmas stocking. And I have to start over again. What I ought to do is organize this sock drawer, get rid of the socks that I don't wear, divide the workout socks and the dress socks and the hiking socks, actually throw out the socks with no matches. I mean, what are the odds that the other ones are really going to turn up, right? What I might even do, if I were really smart, which I never claimed to be, is put some shoe boxes in there to divide up the really big drawer into smaller spaces so that it's not just one giant sea of socks that I have to wade through. And then, once it's organized, right? Once it's organized, I might even commit to matching my socks when I fold my laundry, instead of just throwing all the socks in the drawer for later, a sort of gift to my later self. I don't do any of this, of course, because every time I open that giant drawer, sheer chaos in there. Chaos is overwhelming. And when we're overwhelmed, we get paralyzed. I wonder if anyone else is feeling not necessarily connected to your sock drawers, but maybe connected to other things, like possibly the news, for instance. A little bit paralyzed because everything feels so chaotic right now. And where do you start, right? And so maybe we just don't touch the sock drawer. We just let it overwhelm us each morning. And that's by design. This morning, when I tried to decide what to think about first, it was hard because swimming around in my mind, that vast space, was Greenland and Canada and Mexico and the Gulf of America and the Riviera of the Middle East and $400 million worth of armored Teslas and all the laid-off government workers and park rangers and the HIV drugs that might not get to those who need them around the world, and the trans kids banned from playing sports at their schools, and the websites erasing Black History Month, and the National Park Service deleting references to trans history at Stonewall, and also major companies abandoning their diversity initiatives without any fight at all, and Trump talking to Putin on the telephone like he's a normal person and taking over the Kennedy Center for the Arts like that is normal, and Elon Musk holding court in the Oval Office, and Louisiana ending vaccine promotion, and position after position being filled by unqualified people while plane crashes are being blamed on DEI initiatives, and my wealthy neighbor posting a form on the community space page on Facebook asking all of us to report anyone illegal we might know from school, work, or church. before I sat down to eat my breakfast, I didn't know which thought to focus on. And it was so overwhelming that I just stopped thinking about any of it for a while. And that's by design. Causing chaos by disrupting systems on multiple fronts is a tactic meant to paralyze everyday citizens so that we become complacent and accepting of change, even when we believe those changes to be wrong. And it's working. It's working because we are overwhelmed. And it's understandable. I mean, I've already told you, my brain is frequently overwhelmed by a sock drawer. Is anyone else feeling overwhelmed? Okay, for those watching online, it's kind of unanimous. I don't want you to feel bad about that. We're not here to feel bad about that or to indulge that feeling either. I think we're here to soothe our spirits a smidge so that we can think for a minute. I think we're here to get a breather for our souls so that we can regroup. And I think we're here so that we can have a little space around our hearts so that we can remind each other what's at stake here. Because while the consequences of my sock drawer dilemma affect only myself, the consequences of this democracy project affect a lot more than that. And friends, the stakes are very, very high. Not just for us, but for those who are depending on us to protect them. Those in our community, in our country, and those around the world who are most at risk. And I don't pretend to know all of the meaningful steps of action that we will be called upon to make in the future that will help this democracy project right itself, that will help our beloved trans and Black and female and immigrant and disabled and Muslim and Jewish and Latinx and poor and environmentally conscious and globally minded siblings feel safe and cared for. But I do know that if we are exhausted and overwhelmed and disoriented, we won't be ready to take them on. So my suggestion is that we pay very much attention to this tendency to feel overwhelmed and develop early on some very good tools to work against it. Otherwise, we will be tempted to disengage, to become those people who shrug our shoulders, put our heads in the sand and say, "What could we do? There was nothing we could do." And there's another pitfall I want to point out early on in this, which is that if we are overwhelmed, we are not organizing our sock drawers, and we are not organizing ourselves. In fact, we are likely bickering amongst ourselves instead of organizing ourselves, which happens so easily when we are overwhelmed. Not to beat this metaphor to death, but you see, if we get stuck in the argument about whether to donate those old socks rather than throw them away, the sock drawer will remain in chaos while sweeping changes get made in the other drawers, and we will be too distracted to do anything about it. So let's not fall into the trap of being so agitated and fried that we end up arguing with each other about differences of approach, instead of arguing with those who are actually trying to dismantle our deeply held values. Instead, let's remember to lean into the grounding and sustaining and connecting practices that our faith and our community provide us with, so that we are not empty and angry and bickering vessels doing this work. And folks, we actually know how to do this. We have spiritual and emotional resources at our disposal. We've talked about these tools before, but now we just need to make them really easy to access, really obvious and not overwhelming. So I'm going to give you a little roadmap, okay, for facing down the overwhelm. Let's talk about the 6 R's that we're going to depend on this year. A little mnemonic device. Remove, recalibrate, rest, refill, reconnect, and resist. And I was serious about giving you a little map. Our worship team is going to hand these out to you if you are in the room, and Sean is going to put this up on the screen. That's the plan anyway, for those of you watching from home. Hopefully that works. It's a list of the 6 R's with examples in each column, and I'm going to walk you through them. This is our roadmap for navigating overwhelm, okay? I told you I was going to make it super easy, and you can use the different steps on here depending on where you fall on the overwhelmed spectrum. You see, we are not all feeling the same, and these things that are happening in the world, they're not affecting us all equally. So you can find where you are and act accordingly. If you are at the extreme end of overwhelm, like your blood pressure is through the roof, your anxiety is in overdrive, or you might even be feeling unsafe, you might need to take steps in the yellow column, the remove column. Even looking out the window can help. Anything to take you away from the heightened state of threat. Depending on your social identity or situation, this might actually mean removing yourself to an actual safer location. And please know that I am here to have those discussions with you. But for most of us in this room, this means controlling the messaging that we are getting more than anything else. When you are feeling this overwhelmed, it might be time to take a news break for the day or to take a break from social media. But the things we are witnessing are upsetting and triggering. So even once we have stepped away, we might need to recalibrate just to get our heart rates back to normal. The orange column offers us tools for this. Taking 5 deep breaths. Naming 5 things that we see around us. This is to bring us back to the thinking part of our brains instead of the feeling part. We often draw on the 5-fingered meditation because that's such a good one. Tracing our fingers up while we breathe in and down when we breathe out. Another one is tensing and relaxing 5 different muscles. You can try this with your arms. Make them tight and then relax. Or we can meditate for 5 minutes. These are all things to get us back to center. If that image has been up for a little while, you can take it down anytime, Sean. That is available to you anytime at our website, uumh.org/resist. Okay. It's also important that we rest. That's the next column, the red one. We need to get enough sleep. We won't be helped to anybody if we don't get enough sleep. We need to take breaks. Take comfort in small things like wrapping ourselves in a blanket, making our favorite cup of tea. This is all about self-regulation of our nervous systems. When we are feeling overwhelmed, new information is hard. Sometimes even watching a movie is too much, but watching a favorite show that we've already seen before is comforting. Watch it again. These are all things that will help calm our bodies and help us rest. And it's important that we make our homes into spaces that bring us comfort. Make your home an oasis, a retreat. And then we need to refill. Do the things we love, the things that recharge our batteries. This is the purple column, refill. Read books, do puzzles, listen to podcasts, do things that are good for us and nourish us, make yummy, healthy snacks, feed our bodies, feed our brains, watch documentaries, learn something, spend time in nature. And when we have that bit of energy back, that's when we can reconnect with others. Move beyond ourselves and our interior worlds. That's the blue column. Text or call a friend. Leave the house. Get our bodies moving. And hey, remember, we have Qigong on Monday morning and yoga on Thursday afternoon. And when we're out there in the world, let's not forget to be kind to the people around us, even the strangers, especially the strangers. Why get so upset about the state of the world if we're not going to be kind to the ones right next to us? Look what can happen if we risk sharing our cookies at the airport. Send a care package to someone. These connections are what is going to sustain not just us, but others. Attend a community event. I have the perfect one in mind for you. Singspiration is next Sunday at 2 o'clock right here. We're going to connect across all of our theological differences through song. We're going to say, hey, we think differently, and that's okay because we live in this community together and we care about each other. And we all like to sing. Isn't that wonderful? Let's sing together. And you know what else? We all care about homelessness in our town, and we want to do something about it. Let's raise money for an organization doing that work together. and buoyed by the connections we are fostering all around us, I promise you, we will find the energy for the last column. Resist. We will find the composure to realize that in our moments of safety and privilege, we can offer to support someone more affected, someone who has lost their job because of what's going on, or who is worried about their health care, or their kids' safety, or being deported. When we have the mental space and energy to handle it, we can learn more. We don't have to drink the news through a fire hose, but we can pick one topic in the day and look into it, read a few different sources and decide for ourselves what we think is going on. We can use our time as a valuable resource, volunteer somewhere. We can find someone doing good work that we respect and join them. We can make a donation. We are not powerless. Our wallets are power. We can use them. Our voices are power. We can use them. We can call our senators. There's blank space around that chart. I suggest you write your phone numbers of your senators and reps in those spaces and call them several times a week. You know what holds us back sometimes? We think we have to be so articulate. We don't. Do you know how rambling my messages are when I call Senator Warren? It doesn't matter. They just need to hear from us, because that shows that we are paying attention and it keeps them going. And our presence is power. We can use it. We can attend a vigil or a protest. It won't always change anything, but it shows that we are paying attention, that we care. It shows that we are not being overwhelmed into compliance. And we won't always use this tactic. We can't be in the streets every day, but the point of this map is not to get to the end and stay there. The point of this map is to move back and forth across it all the time, using all the boxes. We'll use different ones at different times, and we'll spell each other. The true point of this map is to not feel stuck, to not feel despairing, to not feel paralyzed. To realize that even if we are making a cup of tea, we are doing it with purpose. You see, we can be strategic too, you know. The historian Howard Zinn says, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It's based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness." What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, he says, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act in however small a way, he says, we don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Remove, recalibrate, rest, refill, reconnect, resist. And that's by design. Amen, and blessed be. Take us away.
You gotta put
One.
Now, you gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with a put one foot in front of the other and lead with a. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with a put one foot in front of the other and lead with a. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Let's move right on. You got one foot in front of the other and lead with a put. One foot in front of the other and lead with a. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with a put. One foot in front of the other. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Don't you despair. Don't keep ahead. Look up ahead. Keep the path right there. The path right there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with a pull. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other.
It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this topic, we invite you to our midweek Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday at 5 p.m. If you're not on our email folk list and need that Zoom link, please let Kenneth in the office know. Our question this week is, what is one thing you can do today to feel less overwhelmed? What is one thing you can do today to feel less overwhelmed?
Thanks so much for coming out in this weather today. It's so good to be with you again. I'll close with these words by Naomi Shihab Nye. I looked around the gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in, the shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took the cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can still happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Go in peace.